welcome to Sing for Your Supper. I am making my aunt's famous egg puff recipe, and this is going to be the healthier version of a quiche. It's still got all the great elements of a quiche, but we're going to greatly reduce the calories by using some wheat bread in the casserole instead of having a crust that is filled with fat and butter. So in here I have some chicken maple sausage I found at the farmer's market the other day. It was a free-range chicken, so I thought I would definitely use that. So just taking it out of its casing and I'm just sauteing it up in a pan. Make sure that it's cooked all the way through because it is chicken. And then we're going to put that into our casserole. So to bulk up and also to make our egg dish very, very flavorful, I have some vegetables here. I have some zucchini, some summer squash, some eggplant, and some whole garlic. And over here I have some mushrooms and some onions. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roast these in the oven with just a little bit of oil. I have just a half a tablespoon of oil on each sheet pan. And that's going to really bring out all those natural sugars in the vegetables. And here I have some fresh cracked black pepper. I think it has a much better flavor than just that stuff you get in a jar. And in our sausage there was some sage, so I thought I'd throw in a few herbs that would really complement that sage. And so I have some rosemary here, fresh, I just picked out of my garden. And I have some thyme. And instead of taking time to really pick those leaves off of here, I'm just going to throw the sprigs right on there. And when it roasts in the oven, the leaves just fall right off and you don't even have to go through all that work. Alright, as soon as I get all that thyme on there, I'm just going to give it a little toss with my best tools, my clean hands. Okay, all my vegetables are tossed with the oil and the herbs and the seasoning, and I'm going to get that right into the oven and just cook them until they're nice and tender and they just have a little bit of brown on the outside. While my vegetables are roasting, I'm going to get my pan prepared with the rest of the ingredients. Just going to give it a little spray, some pan spray, just make sure it's not going to stick to the inside of the pan. And this is a great place to use up the crusts of the bread. I know people in my house don't like to eat the crusts. I'm the only one who ever eats them. So here's a great use for them. You're just going to tear them into some pieces and spread them around the bottom of the pan, and that's going to really soak up that egg mixture, and it is kind of going to form a crust on the bottom. Again, instead of using that really fat-filled crust, you're going to use some nice, wholesome wheat bread. Alright, that looks good. And I have some low-fat American cheese here. And I'm just going to use a couple of slices. It really doesn't take that much because when you're heating it in the oven, that cheese is going to melt and it's going to get all into that egg mixture. So you don't need a ton of it. Next ingredient is that great chicken maple sage sausage that we cooked up earlier. We're just going to sprinkle that into the pan. It smells great and I can smell those herbs wafting out of the oven. I can't wait to try this. So you can't have an egg dish without eggs, of course. So I'm actually making 2 casserole dishes full because we have a big class that we're feeding. So I'm going to use 4 whole eggs, and that's for the whole 2 casseroles. Because the rest of it I'm going to fill up with egg beaters. Now some people might not think that they like egg beaters, but in a very flavorful dish such as this, you're never going to even notice the fact that there are egg beaters in there instead of whole eggs. Okay, that was a whole quart of egg beaters, 4 whole eggs, and that's about 3/4 of a cup of milk. And I'm just going to give this a nice whisk, get a little bit of salt and pepper in there, and as soon as my vegetables come out, I'm going to assemble my egg casserole. So we had our sage, we had our rosemary, and we had our thyme. What's left? Parsley. I just have a nice handful of fresh picked parsley out of my garden. Can't beat it. Mix that into the egg mixture, and here are my lovely vegetables. If you could only smell these. But you actually get something better. You get to taste them. So I get half of my vegetables on top of the bread and the cheese and the chicken sausage. And that is already heaping full. And then I'm just going to pour my egg mixture right on top. Make sure that you get all the little nooks and crannies. So I hope you have a great summer, and I hope you join me next time on Sing for Your Supper.